Hello friends, I'm Malcolm from A1 Australia PT IELTS and NATI Coaching, Australia's #1 institute for clearing any of these English proficiency tests for your Australian or your Canadian PR. Well friends, in today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of the PTE test and how online classes can help you get your desired score in the shortest possible time and the minimum possible attempts. To begin with, PTE Academic is the test which you need to take for your Australian student visa or your Australian PR as well. It stands for Pearson Test of English Academic. Many times people get confused which test they should opt for. Should it be the PTE Academic test or the PTE General test? Please remember, for Australia, for all visa purposes, you need to sit for the PTE Academic test. In short, it's called PTE-A. Now let's start with the overview. The test needs to be taken at a PTE official test center. For all student visa purposes, temporary work visa and the permanent residency visa, you cannot take it from home. That's a different test and it will not serve your purpose. So remember, you need to go to a test center with a copy of your actual passport. Without the passport, you cannot sit for the test. If you have any issues, you can always call the PTE call center, which is 1-800-7292-8282, and they'll help you out. Well, there are a lot of test centers in Australia. We have our institute based in Melbourne at the moment. So definitely in Melbourne as well, there are a lot of test centers. You must reach there approximately before 15 to 20 minutes of your test start time. Make sure that if you're going in a car, you check the parking, or if possible, go by public transport and try to reach there about 15 to 20 minutes prior to the actual test time. I have an actual score of 90 each. I've trained more than 30,000 students approximately in the last 7 years. I'm a very successful PT, IELTS and NATI trainer myself, and we train with all these tests of English. Now, I'll give you some very crucial information which will explain all the tasks in the test and what type of mindset you should have. And secondly, how online coaching can actually help you with your test preparation. Well, the test is of approximately 2 hours. You will be wearing a headset and you'll be taking the test on a computer with a proper keyboard on which you need to type your answers in all tasks which require writing related typing. There are 4 modules in the test: speaking, writing, reading, and listening. So it's SWRL. This has always been the order of the 4 modules in the actual test. Speaking has a total of 5 tasks. The total number of questions will be around 30-ish, around 30 to 32 or 33 approximately. And the whole speaking section you will be able to easily complete in about 20 to 22 minutes non-stop. As soon as speaking ends, the writing test will start. There is no break at all. It's a continuous test of approximately 120 to 135 minutes. In writing, there are 2 tasks. The total number of questions in the writing test can be either 2 minimum or maximum 3. The total time for those 2 questions, and please note, every question you will have an independent timer. In the first task of writing, which is called summarized written text, you will have 10 minutes per question. And the second task of writing, which is called write essay, you will have 20 minutes per question. So depending on number of questions which you're asked, the total time which will be devoted to the writing module totally will be minimum 30 minutes, 10 plus 20, and the maximum time could be 20 plus 20, that's 40 minutes. After the writing test ends, the third section or the third module will start immediately, which is the reading test. Reading has a total of 5 tasks. The total number of questions would be somewhere around 13 to 17, and the total time in the reading part or the reading section will be an overall timer of approximately 30 minutes. I'm giving you rough timings, okay? After the reading test ends, the last module will be listening. Listening has a total of 8 tasks, 8. The first task of listening has a separate timer of 10 minutes. Per question. You may get minimum 1 question or maximum 2 questions. That means 10 to 20 minutes for that one task. After that, all tasks from task 2 to task 8 in listening have to be done non-stop, and you'll get an overall timer again. Listening has a total of 8 tasks. So if we calculate the total number of tasks in PT, 5 in speaking, 2 in writing, 5 in reading, and 8 in listening. So total 20 tasks. If you count the total number of questions, speaking has roughly around 28 to 32 questions. Writing will have 2 or 3 questions. Reading will have 12 to 17 questions roughly, or 15 to 17. And listening section will again have around 15 to 20 questions. So the total number of questions will be anywhere between 50 to 60, and the total time will be around 2 hours to complete the entire test. Now, let me give you an idea about all the 5 tasks in speaking. Always remember, in speaking in PTE, if you want to get a 90, it's easy, but you need to speak with a lot of confidence and you need to speak smoothly and clearly the way I'm speaking right now. The main things in the speaking part are confidence, clarity, and the smoothness with which we speak. We don't have to be too loud. We don't need to speak very softly. We have to speak at a normal voice, right? The first task in speaking, it's called read aloud. You will have a passage in front of you and you have to read it in the mic exactly as it's written on the screen. Because you will speak and read at the same time, you get marks in speaking and reading both from this task of read aloud. It's an integrated task. The number of questions will be around 5 to 6 or maximum 7 for this first task of read aloud. The second task in speaking is called repeat sentence. Generally, you will get 6 to 7 questions for this task. You will listen to a sentence and you have to repeat it exactly as you hear it. So it's called repeat sentence. It's generally considered to be a difficult task by many students across the world, and this task requires a lot of practice. Because you listen and then you speak, you get marks for speaking and listening, right? It's an integrated task. Integrated tasks are most important in PTE. Whatever your level of English, whatever your required score, always make sure that you focus on the integrated tasks more. You will get more marks and you'll clear your test with very good grades. The third task in speaking, it's a task called describe image, which means you will have an image in front of you and in maximum 40 seconds duration, you have to describe that image in your own words as smoothly and as fluently as you can. The number of questions for this task will generally be 3 to 4, and we have some pretty good templates, means ready-made fixed answers, which make the task of describing an image fluently very easy. The next task, that is task number 4, it's a task called Retell Lecture. First, you will have to listen to a lecture, and during that time you need to quickly note down the main keywords or the phrases or chunks of words from the lecture, and after the lecture ends, you have to repeat it in your own words. Again, you get a time of 40 seconds to speak, in which you must try to include as many keywords and important content as much as possible, and you must try to speak as smoothly and fluently as you can. Generally, you'll get only one question. First, you will listen and then you will speak. So it's an integrated task for speaking and listening both. Very important. The fifth and the last task in speaking is a task called answer short question. First, you will have to listen to a question, and as soon as the question ends, you have to speak the answer in as few words as possible. For example, in which direction does the sun rise? East. So that's how this task works. You may get questions based on general awareness or common sense. So those are the type of questions which you get. And again, it's an integrated task because you listen and then you speak. So you get marks for speaking and listening. To give you a quick overview of the speaking section, 5 tasks, around 30 to 35 questions, total time non-stop 20 to 22 minutes is enough to finish entire speaking. The task of read aloud, very important, which is the first task, will give you marks in speaking and reading. 3 tasks are integrated with listening. Repeat sentence, retell lecture, answer short questions, right? Speaking and listening. Now, let's go to the second module. The second module in PTE, immediately which starts after speaking, is writing. There are 2 tasks in writing. The first task is called summarize written text. You may have 1 or 2 questions for this task. You will have a passage in front of you, which may have 3 to 5 paragraphs, and then you have to read it quickly, understand it, and below that there is a box in which you need to type a summary of that passage in a single sentence. The maximum word limit for your answer is 75 words, and the minimum word limit for an acceptable answer is 5 words. The most important thing in this task is your whole summary, which means your answer should be a single sentence with only 1 full stop at the end, which means you can join different sentences in your own words and then connect them using connectors or conjunctions. But make sure there is only 1 dot or 1 full stop at the end of your answer. there will always be a word counter on your screen which will show you the number of words which you have typed. Make sure the maximum word limit is 75. Okay. Now in this task, because first you read a passage and then you write the answer, you get marks in reading and writing both. It's an integrated task. And as I said, integrated tasks are always important in PTE. You get marks for reading and writing, and there are 2 questions maximum. If you get 1 question, the total time will be 10 minutes. If you get 2 questions, 20 minutes. In all such tasks in which you have an independent timer, you must utilize the full time for the question. There is no need to do next before the time ends. Even if the time is up and whatever answer you've written on the screen, it will be auto-submitted. So don't worry, don't stress guys, if you are not able to click the next button, it will be auto-submitted. Whatever your last answer, you keep in the box. The second task in the writing section is called Write Essay. In this task, you will be given a topic and you will have a box below that in which you need to type an answer. Your answer should be between 200 to 300 words. Minimum word limit is 200, maximum is 300. Content is important, but at the same time, we are very proud to share that I personally have made a universal essay template. And as it's a universal essay template, it's guaranteed that whichever topic of the essay you get, whether it's a problem solution essay, agree disagree essay, opinion essay, or it's an advantage disadvantage essay, whatever you get, you use my template with the correct structure, guaranteed you'll get full marks. You just have to follow what I tell you to do. You don't have to use your brain in forming the sentences, and you will get full marks. That's my responsibility. Okay. You will get only 1 essay. Earlier you used to get 1 or 2 questions, but now it's only 1. So what we generally recommend to our students is, first in about 8 to 9 minutes, quickly type the template, right? Introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, conclusion. 4 paragraphs, that's it. After that, just fit the topic sentence where I asked you to fit it. That's it. And then after, let's say you finish your answer in 12 or 13 or 14 minutes, in the remaining 6 minutes, just sit, relax and check your answer for mistakes. I've seen so many students are very good at their English, but in overconfidence or due to their lazy tendency, they don't check the answer enough number of times and they make silly mistakes of grammar, typing or spelling. And because it's a software which is grading your answer, you will be penalized for that, right friends? So make sure you have enough time to check your answers in detail. Okay. After the writing section ends, the third section will start, and that is reading. Reading by most of the students is considered to be a slightly difficult section, especially because reading is the only module in PT which will actually test your knowledge of grammar and knowledge of vocabulary to a certain extent. Now the first task in the reading section, it's a task called reading and writing fill in the blanks. In short, they are also called drop down fill in the blanks. You will have a passage in which around 5 to 6 words will be blanked. You will have an arrow. You click on that arrow in that particular blank and a menu will drop down with 4 or 5 options. And that is the reason these type of blanks are more popularly known as drop down fill in the blanks. Now because the name of this task is reading and writing fill in the blanks, it's an integrated task. You get marks for reading and writing both. For each correct answer, you'll get 1 point, and for a wrong answer which you choose, you get 0. There is no penalty as such. So let's say there are 5 blanks in a lengthy passage. You get 5 points in reading and writing both out of 90. So number of questions for this task will be around 5 to 6. It's one of the most important tasks for students who are aiming to get a score of 79 each or 8 each to get 20 points for their Australian permanent residency. And you must practice this task as much as you can. The next task in the reading section is called multiple choice, choose multiple answers. It is the second task in the reading section. You will have 1 or 2 questions in this task. You will have a lengthy passage, you will have a question, you will have 3 to 4 options below the question. I would strongly suggest and request all of you who are watching this video to not spend a lot of time behind this task. Okay? It's a low weight task. If you are confident, then select multiple options. If you are not confident, choose only 1 option. This is also a task which has the concept of PNM. PNM means partial negative marking. For every correct response which you choose, you get +1 point. For every wrong response, you get -1 point. So if you select 2 options, 1 is right, 1 is wrong, you get +1, -1, 0. That is why If you're not sure with multiple options, choose only one option. If it's correct, you still get 1 point. There will be no penalty, right? So save your time. Don't spend more than I would say 30 to 60 seconds per question, maximum 60 seconds. For the first task of reading and writing fill in the blanks, you may take approximately 1.5 to 2.5 minutes per question, because the most important thing in the reading section is time management. Those who are good at time management will win the game. Those who are poor will have to pay a price for that. The third task in the reading section is a task called reorder paragraphs. You will get 2 to 3 questions for this task. Now in this task, what you have to do is, you'll have a passage with 4 to 5 paragraphs in a jumbled up sequence, which means they will not be in the correct sequence. And you have to understand the pattern of those sentences and paragraphs, and you have to arrange them in the correct sequence in such a way that it makes a story. You get points for adjacent pairs. For example, if the correct sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4, you get 1 point for 1, 2, 1 point for 2, 3, and 1 point for 3, 4. So if there are 4 paragraphs and if all are in the correct sequence, the maximum points which you get will be 3. So a general simple rule of thumb is, if there are n paragraphs, you get n minus 1 points for all correct pairs. So if there are 5 paragraphs, you get 4 points. If there are 4 paragraphs, the maximum points you get is 3, n minus 1. Okay. Number of questions will be 2 to 3. The fourth task, it's a task called reading fill in the blanks. It is very similar to reading and writing blanks, but here you will have a passage with few missing words which will be blanks, and below the passage you will have 5 to 6 options, or maybe 7 to 8 options. You have to use your mouse and you have to drag the correct blank at the correct position. So that's why these are popularly called drag and drop blanks. This task is a pure reading section task. It is not integrated, and you get 1 point per right answer to the reading score. So generally you get 2 to 4 questions for this task, and for each correct blank you get 1 point. So if there are 4 blanks, you get 4 points, and if there are 3 such questions, you get 3 into 4, 12 points out of 90. 90 is the total of your score in each section. For fill in the blanks, 2 things are very important. One, vocabulary, and a very integral part of knowing vocabulary is academic collocation. Collocation are words which come together. For example, academic journal, academic report. So such words always come together, right? So they are called academic collocations, collocated words, right? So in our portal, which is available on our website, oneaustraliagroup.com, we have given a list of all these collocations, which is the official PTE collocation list given by Pearson itself. So make sure you every day revise at least 50 to 60 words. You don't need to memorize. It's all about understanding clearly and properly. Initially it will take some effort, but once you start enjoying the process, it becomes easier and easier, right? The other thing which is very important to solve fill in the blanks is the knowledge of correct grammar and the proper use of grammar. I'll just give a simple rule. For example, after prepositions are words like in, on, of, for, by. Generally, if you have a verb means an action, okay, like eat, sleep, catch. So these are called verbs. So if you have a blank after a prepositions like words like in, on, of, for, by, it will be a verb plus the ing form. Ing form means a continuous verb form. For example, for study or studying, then you have to choose studying. For eat or eating, for eating, right? So always remember certain such easy rules. I have a list of such rules which are very simple to understand and very effective. And even when vocabulary fails us, which means we don't know the correct meaning, if we know correct use of grammar, we will still be safe to a certain extent, So you can make guesses, but in a practical and a logical way, not random guesswork. Now coming to the fifth task in the reading section, which is the last task. It is again a multiple choice task, which is called multiple choice choose single answer. Here you will get 1 or 2 questions. You'll have a passage, you'll have a question, and you'll have 3 to 4 options. You have to read the question, choose one best answer. There is no negative marking at all. For a right answer, you get +1 point. For a wrong answer, you get 0. That's it. Okay. Now coming to the last section. The last section is listening. Listening has a total of 8 tasks. The first task in listening, it's called summarize spoken text. Now what happens in this task is, you will be listening to a lecture while the lecture is going on, you are supposed to take down notes on your sheet which is provided to you by PTE itself, or you can also note down the keywords on your screen in a short box in which you have to type the actual answer later. While the audio is going on, you can type keywords, you can note down words, phrases, sentences, whatever you're good at noting, note it down, okay? Try to understand the audio. After that, in the box, you are supposed to type your answer. The word limit for this task is 5050 to a maximum of 7070 words. Minimum 50, maximum 70. And remember, in this task, your answer should have multiple sentences, means multiple full stop. It should not be a single sentence. Many students who take PT for the first time, they confuse the task of summarize written text SWT with summarize spoken text SST. Now SWT, you remember, right, is the first task of writing. The word limit should be 5 to 75 words and a single sentence. SST is the first task of listening. Word limit should be 50 to 70 words, multiple sentences. To make your life easier, even for a summarized spoken text, I have a very simple template which is a very high scoring template. You can use my template, and 100%, if you use it correctly, you will get full marks for listening, that is content score, and also for writing, because my templates are very simple. Use proper grammar, have a good structure, coherence and cohesion is always followed, because I'm also an ex-IELTS tutor myself. And lastly, there will be no spelling mistakes, and it will have use of proper academic collocation. Collocation and use of proper grammar, the choice of proper keywords, this is the perfect combination to get a full score in SST. Per question, you get 10 minutes, including listening to the audio and then writing your answer. Because you listen and you write, you do two things at the same time. This is also an integrated task. You get marks for listening and writing both. If you get one question, 10 minutes. If you get two questions, which is the max which can come, total time utilized will be 20 minutes, right? After this task, the second part of the listening section will start. So summarized spoken text is considered to be the first part of listening, and all tasks from task 2 to task 8 are considered to be the second part of listening. Now the task number 2 in listening is called multiple choice, choose multiple answers. Just like reading, if you guys remember, it was the second task, right? Even in listening, it is the second task, multiple choice, choose multiple answers. You'll get 2 questions maximum, 1 or 2. But instead of reading a passage, you'll have to listen to the audio in the form of a passage, like the passage in the form of an audio. You'll have a question and you'll have 4 options below it, or maybe 5 to 6 options below it. You are supposed to choose multiple answers. But this task again has partial negative marking, P and M. +1 for the right answer, -1 for the wrong answer. So again, follow the golden rule. Select only one answer. If you are confident, only then choose more than one options, right? Because the more options you choose, the more time it will take. So basically, you have to be very smart with your time management, as that is the most crucial thing which you need to take care about. Now coming to the third task in the listening section. The third task in listening is a task called listening fill in the blanks. In this task, you will have a passage and you will have few missing words in the passage. Now obviously, when you listen to those missing words, you are supposed to type them. So that's why it's called listening fill in the blanks. Before the audio starts, you will get 7 seconds. I have a very important tip for all students. Count the number of words which are as blanks. So always have a mental head count of how many blanks are there. Secondly, while the audio is going on, if you want, you can quickly note down the words on your sheet. Or if you have good typing skills, you can also type the words in short form. For example, let's say the word you get is tiger, but you don't want to type TIGER in the box. So you can just write TIG and try to remember it, So basically type in short form if you're good at typing. Otherwise, you can note down quickly all the words on your sheet and then later transfer all those words on your computer screen, right? You'll get 1 or 2 questions. This task is really important for listening and writing, because first you listen to the blanks and then you type them. So again, it's one of the most important integrated tasks for your writing score. 1 or 2 questions will come for this task. Spelling is the only thing with the software checks. So if you're good at spellings, you'll really enjoy this task and your listening and writing scores will be very high. If you're not good at catching words, then it's going to be a bit of a problem and a challenge. Most of the time, students get confused with words ending with S, ES or ED. So my suggestion is check the grammar, check the tense in the sentence and the words before and after the same blank. I'll give a simple example. the students sit on the bench. So when the noun or when the subject ends with S, like students plural, the next verb will always end without S. And if it's the opposite, for example, the student sits on the bench. So if the noun or subject is without S, the verb will always be with S. So it's always the opposite, right? So always check simple things in grammar, and that's how you can save a lot of points and not be penalized for a spelling mistake or a grammatical error. Task number 4, which is the next task in listening, it's called highlight correct summary. In this task, you will listen to an audio and there will be 4 options given on your screen, and you have to match the best option which is a good summary of the audio which you listen to. Now here, because you'll be reading the options which are quite lengthy, to be honest, they are of 2 or 3 sentences, like this big. It's not a single sentence, sometimes it's multiple 2 sentences. Because you read and listen at the same time, you will get marks for both reading and listening. And as I mentioned, all integrated tasks are important. This is not a very high weight or a high stakes task, but nonetheless it is important. Generally you'll get 2 questions. I'll give you a tip in this task. Always try to match the beginning of the audio and the end of the audio with the beginning of each option and the ending of each option. Beginning means introduction, conclusion is the end, right? Why I'm asking you to do this is because you have to choose a best summary. Summary always has 2 very crucial components. Which 2? Introduction and conclusion. You'll get generally 2 questions for this task. Coming to the next task, which is task number 5, it is multiple choice, choose single answer. Now in this task, even again if you remember, in reading we have task number 5, which is the same task, multiple choice, choose single answer. Even in listening, task number 5 is multiple choice, choose single answer. The only thing is here, instead of reading a passage, you will have to listen to an audio, and then there is a question and there are 4 options. You have to choose only 1 correct answer. For the right answer, you get +1 point. For the wrong answer, you'll get a 0. There is no negative penalty at all. Very low weight task. Please students, don't spend a lot of time. Be quick and move on to the next question. Okay. Coming to task number 6. Task number 6 is a task called select missing word. What happens in this task is, the topic of the audio which will play will be mentioned on your screen. For example, you will hear a lecture about the Australian economy. Okay. And then the audio will start, and at the end of the audio, the last word or the last 2 or 3 words of the audio will be replaced by a beep sound, and there will be 3 to 4 options given on your screen. So basically you have to choose the last part of the sentence which is replaced by a beep sound with one of the options to complete that last sentence of the audio. That is why it's called select missing word, to put it at the end of your answer. Popularly, it is also known as the beep task because you hear a loud beep sound at the end of the audio in this task. You'll get 1 or 2 questions. Coming to the next task. The next task is task number 7. The name of the task is highlight incorrect words. This is one of the easiest tasks in PT, but also requires a lot of concentration. Now what happens in this task is, you will have a passage in front of you, and for the same transcript which is in front of you on your screen, you will also be listening to an audio track. But few words in the audio and few words in the transcript will not match. So whenever you hear a word which is not matching with the audio, you simply have to click on that word with your mouse. Once you click on the word, it will be highlighted. That is why the name of the task is highlight incorrect words. By mistake, if you click on a wrong word, it can also be deselected if you click on it again. So that is a good thing in this task, and there is no need to worry. It's a very important task, and it's an integrated task because you will listen and read at the same time. Always remember, integrated tasks are really important, and you have to try your best to get full marks in integrated tasks if you want to achieve a high score in PT in your first or second attempt. Now, just a word of caution. In highlight incorrect words, generally it's a very simple task, but it requires a lot of concentration, and many times there could be additional audio or additional sound in the background. So a lot of times in overconfidence, people don't practice this task enough, and in the real exam they get surprised by the additional elements or additional sounds which are coming in the background, right? So you have to practice this task as much as you can before your final exam. Generally the number of questions will be 1 or 2, and again I'm repeating, it's an integrated task for listening and reading. Now coming to the last, 8th and the most important task in the listening section and also in entire PT. This last task in listening is called write from dictation. In short, it's popularly known as WFD. This task is very similar to the task called repeat sentence in speaking. But if you remember, in repeat sentence, we had to listen to a sentence and repeat it. Here in write from dictation, we have to listen to a sentence and then we write it, or rather type it on the screen. And because we do two things together, listening and writing, you get marks in both listening and writing. It's an integrated task. And remember my words, friends, write from dictation is the most important task in entire PTE, especially for your listening and writing marks. The number of questions for this task generally will be minimum 3. Sometimes you can also get 2, but generally the minimum is 3. Mostly it's going to be 3 or 4 sentences. Very rarely you can also get 5 questions, but that's very rare, as I said. For those students who especially need to get a score of 79 each, make sure you are 100% accurate with write from dictation. Otherwise, it's very, very unlikely, or rather very hard, to cross the score of 79, especially in listening and writing. So guys, I hope you enjoyed my video about the overview of the 20 tasks of PTE. And I already mentioned that integrated tasks are most important. We provide templates for all tasks in which you can use a template. For example, tasks like describe image, retell lecture, write essay, summarize spoken text. And for summarize written text, we have a very simple structure which can get you full marks in reading and writing both. Now, before we wind up this video, I have also something else to share with all of you. That if you need any assistance with your online preparation for tests like PTE, IELTS or NATI, you can definitely contact us by visiting our website oneaustraliagroup.com, or you can call us on +61 466 466603. The second number is +61 466 466609. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp. We have some amazing packages for PTE, IELTS and NATI. Even for NATI preparation, we have 7 languages: Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati, Malayalam, Telugu, Sinhalese and Spanish. For IELTS, we have training for both IELTS Academic and IELTS General, and we have tutors who actually have a score of 8 each, including 8 in writing in IELTS. That is generally unheard of in academies, but yes, we are lucky to have a tutor in IELTS who has been very consistent in delivering results for our students. Also, if you enroll with us for PTE coaching, you can be from anywhere in the world, whether you're based in India, Sri Lanka, China, Pakistan, Nepal, Indonesia, South America, anywhere you are in the world, Fiji, you can Japan. We have students from all around the world, Singapore, Malaysia, you name it, and we have a student. Iran, Iraq, Libya, Yemen, Kazakhstan, Serbia, Russia, you name the place, and we have students from such countries. Any country you name it, there's a very high probability that we will have students whom we have trained. In the last 7 years, I personally have trained around 30,000 students, right? That's not a joke. That's a lot of experience. And we have a big team of tutors. We've got more than 20 tutors working with us at A1 Australia Education Group. And we will try genuinely our best that you get your score in your first attempt. Not only that, if you enroll with us for our PTE online classes, you will get our amazing state-of-art AI-based practice portal. That is our own software on which you can take real exam questions or real exam-like questions. You can take scored mock tests, which can be full mock tests so that you get proper practice and you adapt to the actual exam environment. Or you can also take sectional, means section-wise mock tests, just for speaking, just for writing, just for reading, or just for listening individually. Not only that, we also have a collocation list and the most important, listening vocabulary, which means the listening spelling words, which come in the actual listening fill in the blanks task. We update our portal fortnightly, which is a pretty good rate of updation. And we also provide a monthly prediction file for PTE. It's a PDF document from which repeat questions can come in the real exam. So you can imagine, even if we get 2 or 3 or 4 questions which are repeated in the real exam, there is a very high chance that you can get your desired score in the first attempt. Then whether you're preparing for your student visa, whether you need 6 each, or whether for your nursing registration you need 7 each, or for your PR you need 7 each or 8 each for 10 or 20 visa points respectively. So friends, I hope you enjoyed my video. Make sure you like the video, you subscribe to our channel, and make sure you also share it with your friends. Please comment in the comment section below. If you want to see any videos on any particular topics, I'm more than happy to make the videos for you on PTE, IELTS and NATI. And yes, do tell us how you like this video and make sure that you subscribe to our channel. I'm Malcolm and I will see you soon. Bye. Have a good day. Thank you.